Okay, so we have to ask about the number change. Obviously, it's not because of the TikTok trend, but maybe that had something to do with it. Why 35?
It had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I think that as you transition more into an established role, like you want to have a little bit more, autonomy with how you present yourself on the field. And like my wife's favorite number is 8, and it was 3 + 5 is 8, so it was the number that was available, one of the few that was available, so that's what we went with.
How has your off season been?
It was really good. Really busy. Got married. Moved around. Went to a couple weddings. Bought a house. So a lot of moving parts this off season. But got first healthy off season, maybe in my career. So it was fun to get a body of work in throughout the off season and feel like I was productive and growing the entire off season as opposed to just trying to get healthy again.
What did last season mean to you?
It's a lot. You work hard all your life. You have goals since I had goals since I was in T-ball. I'd always wanted to be a big league pitcher, or baseball player at that. And to be able to realize that goal and have some success, some individual success, it was really cool. It was cool to see how you're able to recognize the fact that your parents, your family, your whole support system back home puts in so much time, effort, money to follow you around through all the Little League travel ball stuff growing up, and to see it all pay off is really rewarding.
Has this offseason felt any different for you now that you've had a big league debut and now you're an established part of the rotation?
Yeah, I mean, I think that whenever you go into an offseason in the minor leagues, you're always pressing towards the ultimate goal to get to the big leagues. And the difference in this year was, like you said, I have been in the big leagues, had some success, and there's a little bit of comfort that comes with that, but also there's a lot of pressure, different pressure that comes with it. You have to come into the next season better than you left the last, if not just the same, and that's pretty tough. It's tough to take time off and get back into stuff and not skip a beat, but that's part of being a professional. It's part of the job description, and just making that a priority every day makes it a little bit easier.
You obviously showed a willingness to just be in any role last season. You thrived in every role that you were in. Did it mean a little more to you, though, towards the end of the season to get that opportunity to show what you're capable of as a starter at the big league level?
Yeah, I mean, I think that anybody that comes into the big leagues that's been a starter their whole life, you always want to have the ball in the first inning. That's obviously in the industry. That's where guys get paid the most in our side of the ball, and it's the most challenging. And I don't think any of us would be here if we didn't like challenges. So yeah, I mean, it was really cool to be able to transition into the bullpen and feel the different pressures that come with that and learn how to pitch differently. And then I think that ultimately that made me a better starter and will make me a better starter, having to pitch in those high leverage situations, having to mix my stuff a little bit different than I otherwise would. And those pitches are a lot more, there's a lot more pressure, there's a lot more effort, there's a lot more intent that goes into those pitches late in the game, and in those situations where you don't have as much time to make up ground. So every pitch means a little bit more on the back end of games. Not to say that in the first through the fifth inning, those pitches don't mean a lot, but you have a little bit more of a runway just because there's a little bit more game to make up ground.
How much time have you spent talking to maybe a person with Bill Murphy, and what your impressions of him so far?
Yeah, we've corresponded pretty regularly since he got the job, and I really enjoy talking to him. Really enjoy picking his brain just about different stuff, the way the ball comes out of my hand, intent with pitches, just trying to find a more consistent feel with the way the fastballs come out of my hand to create more consistent shape, and trying to get recognize what my feels are for certain pitches so that again, they can come out of my hand more consistently, because that's ultimately, to me, or for me, that's probably the most important thing with all the pitches I throw is, I have the movement profile, and I have had the movement profile on all of them. It's just finding a little bit more consistency with it. So he's been a really good crutch to lean on whenever it comes to having those conversations. And I'm really looking forward to working with him.
Does that kind of tie into what he was saying earlier, that this offseason is what you want to work on and try to grow as a pitcher rather than, okay, I've got to dedicate however much time to rehab or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I think that anytime you can, like, you don't ever, when you go through rehabs, you don't ever get away from that mindset. I think I haven't, because to me, like, if you're not healthy and you're doing everything to get healthy, why wouldn't you continue to do those things that got you healthy? So, like, for me, it's just like, how can I take care of my body best? And taking things from all the different rehabs that I've done and applying them to just my everyday routine has been really helpful. But yeah, I mean, being able to kind of lock down, you know, a consistent feel on a changeup and more consistent movement profile on the two seam and being able to, you know, get my slider down into the glove side, like just little things like that, like and being able to get the ball consistently to where I want it to go, and the movement profile is a big deal. But I mean, that's pitching though. Like, put the ball where you want to go, where you want it to go, probably gonna have a little bit of success. So, you know, I think we're always working towards that. But when you're not trying to focus on getting healthy, it's a lot easier to work on in the off season.
When you see Mike Burrows and Johan Oviedo get traded in the offseason, how much, not necessarily it was about you, but how much do you maybe kind of look at it and say, here, there's an opportunity for me to really solidify myself in the starting rotation? Yeah,
I mean, I don't think that any of us were looking at each other trying to take anybody's job, but that's what kind of do. Like, you want your job, and it sucks that at times it's at the expense of somebody else's job, but that's the game that we play. You know, this is a tough game. And if you don't perform, you get replaced, and that's like looking at them and seeing the opportunities they're going to get in their respective organizations. Like, I'm really excited for them, and looking forward to, you know, seeing them compete and being able to compete against them. And when we go to Houston and what is it, Boston? Yeah. When we go there, like, I'm excited to see those guys and get to have a conversation with them, catch up, and kind of pick their brains about, you know, the information they're getting in terms of how they utilize their arsenals with fresh eyes on them. I think it's a cool opportunity to be able to have friends in different organizations with different mindsets. And for me and Mike, like, we move pretty similarly, and our pitch profile is semi-similar. So it'll be cool to kind of, like, we've always kind of picked each other's brains and learned from each other. Me probably from him more than he has from me, but you know, I'm just excited for them. And
how about for yourself?
I mean, I told Ben this, you know, it was, I guess, 2 off seasons ago. I said, I just want to fill any role that's available. I want to be a big league pitcher and help win in Pittsburgh. And if they were still here and we were, you know, fighting for jobs, I would be okay with doing what I was doing last year. But again, to your point, like, with an opening there, losing 2 really good starters, like, it's exciting to be able to have an opportunity to fill those roles, and I just hope I can, you know, fill them.
Braxton, I know you had a busy winter, but did you have any chance you had to kind of reflect back on your first year in the big leagues? And if so, what was the thing that struck you the most about being up for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't really, like, once the season was over, I kind of, you know, started looking towards the next season. I know it's kind of cliche, but I mean, I spent a lot of time this offseason, again, just preparing for this year. But, like, in reflection, like, I'm not gonna lie, I have thought about it, but and talking with my wife, like, it's a really, really surreal deal. Like, and it's cool to be able to have that success that I did have last year, and just use it a little bit as, you know, being able to take the good and the bad, learn from it, and be better this year.
Braxton, what have you thought about the additions the Pirates have made this offseason? What does that mean for this team going forward, in your opinion?
I think all of us are really excited. I know I am. I think that we have an opportunity this year to be ultra competitive. I think that, you know, we've solidified ourselves across the board in the game as one of the best rotations from top to bottom in the game. And to be able to add some bats, to be able to add some power, I think it's going to bode really well for us. Like last year, there were a lot of one-run games that we fell a little bit short on, and I think with the additions that we made this year, we're gonna be poised to be able to come on top of those one-run games.